Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with, oh yeah, you've been waiting for it, the Tennstedt box, his complete Warner recordings, 41 fun-filled CDs in a cube, and we're going to go through them all. Now, Tennstedt's story is well known, and it's really kind of a fun one. He was an East German conductor of no particular distinction when he was given a passport to go to the West, and they actually stamped it with like a visa, allowing him to actually leave the country permanently or for an extended period or whatever it was. Anyway, he saw what they'd done. It was a total accident, and he just kept on walking right through customs into London, from whence he created a career in the West. Now, as a conductor, he was always variable. I mean, he waxed hot and cold, and he had health issues. He canceled as often as he performed sometimes. In fact, one of his cancellations, I owe him an enormous debt of gratitude, because he was going to do Mahler 4 with the New York Philharmonic, and I had tickets to it. And he canceled. And so they decided to replace it with Bernstein conducting Mahler 2 with like Crystal Ludwig and Barbara Hendricks, I think. It was unbelievable. It was an amazing series of recordings. I went to all of them. So, as soon as I found out, I happened to be like around Lincoln Center when they switched the program. So I was like first in line to get tickets for everything. Anyway, so yes, the best concert he ever gave was the one he never did. I think that's probably true, but he could be really inspirational and exciting as well. I think his recording program for EMI really didn't always represent him at his best. And the truth of the matter is, the London Philharmonic, it was not special during this period. And he was not an orchestra builder. He was a guy who needed a great orchestra to get up in front and wave his hands around and gyrate, and amazing things could happen. So let's just see what's in here, a pile at a time, and we'll see what you get. But he was exciting, and he was fun, and there's a warmth and sort of a humanity to everything he did that's really appealing, I think. I mean, even when he wasn't great, he was. Let's see, it's number CD1. They're starting with, actually, the last thing I think they issued of his is CD1. Okay. Well, let's start at the very beginning. The very best place to start. All right. Let me see here. Okay. So, CD1 is I can't believe they kept the coupling. It's Beethoven's Eroica with that inevitable coupling, Mussorgsky's Night on Bald Mountain. And, Tennstedt always had a feel for the Eroica. He did a beautiful job with it. And this is a good performance, but there's one that's like 10 times better on Profil with the NDR Symphony Orchestra. That's the one to get. A Night on Bald Mountain, well, it sounds like a Night on Bald Mountain. What it's doing there, More Beethoven, Symphonies 6 and 8. Okay. Not special. There's a million other great ones. Beethoven overtures. Well, these are more fun. They really are. You get Fidelio Leonore number 3, The Creatures of Prometheus, Coriolan, and Egmont. The usual suspects, but it's a nice disc, and you've got lightning on the cover. So what could be bad? Then we've got the Beethoven Violin Concerto with the Concertgebouw, and the Bruck Violin Concerto number 1 with Kyung Hwa Chung. This, of course, was in the Kyung Hwa Chung box. It's not like we're missing anything here. And they're beautiful performances. Very, very, very good performances. Chung is an amazing violinist, and Tennstedt is a wonderful accompanist. Then we also have the Beethoven Violin Concerto, along with 2 bits of Bach partitas and sonatas with Nigel Kennedy, whose name was just Nigel Kennedy. Back in those days, it wasn't just Kennedy or Nige, which is how he was known among his friends, with the NDR Symphony and Tennstedt in the Beethoven Concerto. It's slow. It's not really, I don't know. I mean, the appeal of that guy was sort of fleeting, mercifully. Schubert, the great C major with the Berlin Phil. Oh, this was a performance that never really got anywhere. It's again, Tennstedt had to be inspirational, and he wasn't. This is just average. His Schumann Rhenish was quite good. and the Concertstück for four horns. Much fun with the Berlin Phil. This is a fun record. This is a good record. Good stuff. Exciting and well played and vibrant, and the Concertstück is just more fun than anyone has any right to have. We've also got Mendelssohn's Italian and the Schumann Fourth, also with Berlin. They're also lovely performances. They were always very good, and everyone enjoyed them, and we all had a good time and had parties with popcorn and snacks, and it was great. Grieg, piano and Schumann, piano concertos with Horacio Gutierrez and the London Phil. He was a good pianist. He's a really good pianist. Although I had sort of a thing with his relatives once. I was hanging out at Tower Records and someone wanted a recording of like the Tchaikovsky, and they said, well, how's that one? It was on Telarc, actually, I think, or Rachmaninoff, I don't know. And I said, nah, it's not so great. Well, turns out the person who was asking the question was like his mother-in-law or something like that. Oh, the hysteria that ensued. How dare I speak to somebody not being an official employee of Tower Records, as if Tower Records was going to, as an institution, make a recommendation. Anyway, but he was a good pianist. He really is. So those are okay. I mean, they're not the greatest, but they're okay. Oh, his Wagner stuff. I like these. Tennstedt's Wagner stuff is fun. And there's a pile of it here. Oh, yes, a big, juicy pile. You've got music from The Ring on one. You've got Tannhäuser, Rienzi, Lohengrin stuff, and Meistersinger stuff. And then you've got Tristan and Isolde, Tannhäuser, Fliegende Holländer, and Götterdämmerung Immolation Scene with Jesse Norman, no less. Oh, and Senta's Ballad, too. And Elizabeth's Prayer. Oh, this is all vocal stuff. Oh, yes. And Isolde actually sings in the Liebestod. Yeah, this is great. So, yeah, these are all fun. All the Wagner stuff I would get. It's wonderfully passionate, fun Wagner playing. It really is. Bruckner 4. Berlin Phil. Meh. Not great Bruckner. He never did great Bruckner. He did Bruckner. I don't know why. His Bruckner was not all that fabulous, because there's also this one, the 8th, with the London Phil. First of all, the London Phil is not the world's best Bruckner orchestra. They just don't have the bass lines. You know what I mean? And second of all, the performance itself, it's the Novak edition, and it's kind of herky-jerky. It's maybe the description that best fits it. It's almost Fort Wagnerian, if you like that. I mean, it's febrile. It's sort of nervous, and I don't know. Go for somebody else. There's so many great aces out there. Brahms 1 with the London Phil. Brahms piano concerto. Oh, that one. Okay, that's different. Okay, the Brahms first. Yes, it's a good Brahms first. It's the only thing on the disc, and 47-minute long. It's a good performance. It really is. Again, you see, we're dealing with competition. So much competition. Brahms' first piano concerto with Garrick Olson. Boy, I mean, listening to this again after like 100 years was like, oh, this is better than I remember it being. It really is. Of course, I may have been listening to it in a phase when I hated the first piano concerto, because usually I either loved the second and hated the first, or loved the first and hated the second. So, it depended what mood I was in. But it's a very estimable Brahms' first piano concerto. Violin concerto with Ulf Holscher at NDR. This is a sleeper. Ulf Holscher is a really good violinist. He did a lot of unusual repertoire. He did Korngold, and he did, Spohr, I think, and stuff like that. But he was really a fine violinist. And this is a very impressive performance, I think. First movement, particularly, it doesn't drag. It's lively and it's fresh. And NDR is a very good Brahms orchestra. It's terrific. Really, really surprisingly good. Oh, look, Nigel Kennedy, Brahms Violin Concerto. Well, see, here's the difference. In the first movement, Holscher and Tennstedt are 23 minutes and 27 seconds. And here, they're 26 minutes and 16 seconds. There's just no comparison in terms of just liveliness and phrasing and smarts and all that stuff. Okay, German Requiem. Now, this German Requiem was always sort of attached to the Brahms Symphony 2 first set that featured the Joachim Brahms cycle, which is amazing, and which is why Tennstedt was not really comparable. And this was the filler to the 4th Symphony. And you've got, let's see, Jesse Norman is the soprano, and Jorma Hönninen, I mean, very good singers. And it's a solid performance. It drags a little in the second movement and a couple other places. The Alto Rhapsody with Waltraud Mahler, which is take it or leave it, and the Schicksalslied. Well, that's fun. So you've got like lots of Brahms choral stuff, and it's good. It's good. It's good, solid Brahms choral stuff. New World Symphony with the Berlin Philharmonic. No exposition repeat in the first movement, and it's a perfectly decent performance of the New World Symphony. Now we get to the stuff that Tennstedt was famous for, which was Mahler. I mean, people wanted Tennstedt because they wanted his Mahler. All the rest of it really didn't matter. It just didn't. And that's what he was known for. And he was an inspirational Mahler conductor. He could be fabulous. So we begin with Mahler 1 with the London Phil. Okay, it's a good, fresh Mahler 1. The sonics in this cycle were always variable. Always. And particularly the very opening, I remember getting this, the opening of the symphony almost drowned in the surface noise of the LP. It was so irritating. On CD, it's better. Thank God. Mahler 2. He always did a great Mahler 2. I mean, he just did. His Mahler 2 was great. Where's the rest of it? It starts after Mahler 1. Mahler 2 is on this disc, and the rest of it's over here. This is a beautiful Mahler second. It really is. It's wonderfully played. It was well recorded. It's an early digital thing. He did, of course, some live Mahler 2s that were just like astounding. Better than his studio efforts, but this is still awfully good. Really, really good. And Mahler 3, also not bad. Not bad at all. It's also spread out over 2 discs with the 4th at the end of the 3rd. The 4th, well, that was sort of his signature piece, but his recording never did him justice because the digital sonics just sucked. The performance itself is fresh and lively, and he captures the innocence of the first movement very nicely, and the adagio is beautiful, but and the soloist is Lucia Popp, who was not in best voice, by the way, for singing this, which was a shame. And so it was a disappointing 4th, but the sonics were so bad, and they haven't done anything. There's nothing they could do about it, really. Now, the cycle began with the 5th, and I think, the adagio from the 10th. This is spread out over 2 CDs as well. It's a good 5th. He always did a good 5th. Tempos were very slow, but it works. I mean, it's an 18-minute scherzo, I think. Yes, 18 minutes and 9 seconds, actually. The 9 seconds make all the difference, of course. A 12-minute adagietto, a 16-minute finale, kind of like Barbaroli did. It's a little bit more punchy than that, but the emotion is just there. It's all just there. His 6th also, it was a good performance. It is a good performance. There were some baubles in the playing from the London Phil. The London Phil always made mistakes in their Mahler recordings. It seems so, especially the brass. But he also had a real feeling for the 6th. 7th, not so much. Kind of po-faced and uninteresting, and also lousy sonics. The 8th, big, very pleasant surprise. This was famous for not being the symphony of much less than 1,000 because they made a point of the fact that there were fewer people and they tried to do it with smaller forces. It doesn't make any difference. It's an exciting 8th. Everyone sings well. Everybody plays well. And the second movement, particularly, how long is it? It's 82 minutes long. I remember it not sounding that long. Last time I heard it, because the second movement particularly is really fresh. He captures all that sort of Des Knaben Wunderhorn, folk-like innocence of a lot of the music. It's really, really an appealing 8th. Give it a shot. It makes it a very, I want to say it reduces it down to size, but it makes it a very digestible work. It really is. It's not, imposing, observe it from a distance. It's get involved in the middle and enjoy the way it sings. It's really lovely. 9th. Okay. Good 9th. Not a great 9th, A little ensemble-wise, it's a little sloppy in places, in the first movement especially, but it's a good ninth. I mean, it is. It really is. Then he redid the first with the Chicago Symphony, another very good performance. It was recorded live, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see here. Recorded live. Yes, it was. That's why it sounds kind of dry. He just never got a break when it came to sonics from EMI in those days. And then you've got the live Mahlers. Oh, now these are the ones everybody likes. Oh, my goodness, are these hot? Mahler 5. Oh, this is really intense. Oh, my God, it's intense. It's so much fun. It's wonderful. And the finale is like 2 minutes faster than a studio recording. It's a thriller. It really is. Mistakes and all. Then there's 6 and 7, which occupies 3 discs, does it? My goodness. 6 and 7, incredibly intense. These performances, especially the finale of the 6th, which is 33 minutes long. And it has these climaxes with the hammer blows. They just stretch out. It's like, wow. Powerful, powerful stuff. The 7th is a lot slower this time around and quirkier and more interesting, actually. So those 5, 6, and 7, those are just wonderful to hear. Das Lied von der Erde with Agnes Balzer, Klaus Koenig, London Phil. This was a sleeper. It's an excellent Das Lied von der Erde. Nobody talks about it. Nobody cared. It's surprising, really. It's very, very good. Singing is good. The playing is good. The pacing is just perfect. It's beautiful. Give it a listen. You'll be quite surprised. Das Knaben Wunderhorn. Okay, pop was really over the hill when this was made, unfortunately. Bernd Weichel is okay. It just doesn't have the freshness and the vocal allure of so many of the other ones. Bernstein's, Macaris's, Chailly, God knows. It's a pity, really, but it didn't turn out that well. Then we've got, let's see, 3 more, and we are done. Strauss, also sprach Zarathustra, with Don Juan. Exciting, decent performances. Yes, they're not the most virtuosic or crazy, but, Don Juan is it's amazing how exciting it is for 18 minutes long. One of the things that the Tennstedt could do was he was very good. He had a flexible beat. Again, he's a little bit like Furtwängler that way. He could go really, really fast and then really, really slow and make the transitions flow beautifully. That he was really good at. And it works. It works certainly in Strauss. And this was a famous recording, the Lucia Pop 4 Last Songs. A lot of you have it on your list of the all-time greatest 4 Last Songs. I never thought it belonged there, but it's lovely. And it's great to have Lucia Pop doing this music, and she sings very well. And the Death and Transfiguration is terrific, too. It's really good. So it's a great disc. It really is. I grant you that. It may not be my personal favorite. And last but not least, oh boy, Hari Janos and Lieutenant Kijé, a popular coupling, as you may recall. George Sell did it that way. This was completely uninteresting. Totally. He had to do something popular, I guess. I don't know. It has no distinguishing features of note. And that's it. That's the whole thing. It's all 40 some odd CDs. So as you can see, it's a very, very patchy collection. Now, if you got the Mahler Live 5, 6, and 7 when they came out separately, a zillion years ago, I have them sitting over there, you're in good shape. And the truth of the matter is, who needs this? I hate to draw that conclusion. The Mahler cycle is available separately. All that stuff is separate. Now, if you missed it and it's not available and you want to get a sense of Tennstedt, you can get this. You're not going to get a lot of bad stuff. There's a lot of just average stuff. And, the high points are very, very high. You've got some of the Mahlers, the Wagners, the Strauss 4 Last Songs disc, a couple of things like that. That Schumann, the Renish, and Mendelssohn disc, those are beautiful. The Berlin Phil. you're in good shape for that. And of course, a bunch of the concerto recordings where he's an accompanist, not the ones with Nigel Kennedy. So that's basically the story. I mean, for 41 CDs, maybe a third are really worth having, and the rest, well, he was an interesting and inspirational conductor who was not always at his best in the recording studio, and that's true of lots of artists. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.